Okay, and finally we are back with another review, and it just so happens that it gets to be another Ayaka review. Just going with the theme here, all the Ayaka reviews, I guess. This time it's a level 90 on an account that is AR55. In the Asia account, and no progress on Spiral Abyss, but that is because the QIQI over here has school, I believe. I believe that's the excuse they're going with. That being said, let's dive right into this Ayaka. And right off the bat, we have over 2,000 attacks, so that's already looking decently promising. 80 elemental mastery, which I guess is okay depending on what a team comp you're going for. And usually you want to do a freeze comp, so elemental mastery is not that important. It is a little worrisome that there is almost 1,000 defense though. I don't know about that one, Chief, but I guess we'll find out if it ends up being good or not. Okay, let's check out these stats. And we have... Okay, interesting. A lot of healthy attack, which is fine. Almost 200 plus on defense, which is unfortunate. We have a decently balanced, well, not really balanced, but over 50% crit rate, so that's already amazing, in my opinion. I would probably at least get 8 more crit rates since you're already in the 60s, but that's just me. Crit damage is a nice healthy 177.7, so you got the lucky triple sevens going, so maybe that is a good thing, I don't know. Low energy recharge, which is fine on your DPS, because you should have batteries to do that job for you. And we've got some cryo damage, which is great. Okay, so this is looking like an okay Ayaka. Unfortunately, there's a decent amount of defense on that, but that is okay. And the free-to-play weapon, Noma, and I believe the QIQI is free to play completely. I could be wrong on that. Maybe a couple of Vulcan moons, but the QIQI is definitely mostly free to play. So this is an okay weapon, which also explains the amount of attack it has because of that 55% attack percent bonus. Aesthetically, this is a pretty fitting sword since it is an Inazuma sword. Not a lot of purple on the hilt, but there is some purples on Ayaka, so I think aesthetically is an amazing choice. A pretty darn good free to play option in my opinion. The QIQI Giggle Whale, obviously the Giggle Whale is so Giggle Whale that he's just like, you know what, I'm so bored of the game that I'm just gonna do this free to play weapon. Obviously that's the thought process of the QIQI, obviously. I don't think I actually have this sword myself, so I actually don't know what it does. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of time to just read out what it does. Okay, this one actually produces a lot of energy recharge. So actually having low energy recharge and not having a battery sounds like it could be okay. Could work just fine. So this is actually a pretty solid weapon for Ayaka now that I think about it. Let's skip over to Constellation 0. We can quickly go over that. And what do we have here but 788, which is exact same talents as my Raiden Shogun, which is totally fine because depending on how this Ayaka is being played, and the QIQI, you should put in chat how you play this, what your team is with your Ayaka, if you have one. But with a freeze comp, you're mostly using your E and your burst. You're probably not spending too much time doing your auto attacks, so that's fine. You're constantly rotating for a freeze comp, because you would usually replace Ayaka with Ganyu if you want to remain a healer, or if you're the complete Giga Chad that you may or may not be, you will replace Diona with Ayaka and not have a healer, but have the most DPS in the game with the freeze comp. But I don't know what you end up doing, so I guess we'll find out. And now let's go over to, oh my god, oh wow, all your elemental mastery comes completely and solely from the elemental bonus, or sorry, the artifact bonus. Holy smokes, what is this set? What is this rainbow ass set? What? Okay, I'm reviewing this Ayaka. I mean, okay, not gonna lie, stats wise it's actually pretty decent, and I'm just gonna assume that this free-to-play person, the QIQI over here, just doesn't have a lot of good artifact RNG on his side, so he kind of just places the best artifacts they have on him to get the best overall stats, which is definitely an okay strategy to go for if you're free to play, because you have limited resources and you kind of just have to use what you get, and that is probably the mindset I have to go on, but it's going to be so hard to do that. Holy smokes. AR55 AR55 and still doing rainbow sets? I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, let's do this. Okay, this is actually a pretty decent, actually this is a really good artifact roll. You got double crits, you got some attack, a lot of healthy crit rate, which is awesome, which is probably why you have a decent amount of crit rate, and it did not roll a single time on defense. This is actually a good artifact. This is actually a good artifact. Like, I would not mind this on like my Ganyu or something, honestly. Okay, I see how we're doing this. He's going like uber no RNG free to play artifact rainbow sets across the board. Oh, I can't wait to see his other characters. And again, we have double crit rate, which is great. Unfortunately, it rolled at least once into defense, but that's still okay because look at that crit damage. Some people would love this item like that. I would not mind this on my Ningguang. I totally wouldn't mind this on my Ningguang at all. Okay, interesting. You know what? I almost feel like the QIQI made a mistake and thought that these two pieces would combine together to give him the plus 18 attack and kind of blanked out, or just, I don't know. I feel like one of these pieces should replace with another of that one, and then you'd get the 2-piece bonus, but that's just me. I don't know. And this piece is, again, pretty solid. It unfortunately rolled like maybe twice into flat attack, but at least it's attack and not flat defense, so that's fine. And again, solid amount of critical damage, so again, not a bad piece in the slightest. It's just that there's no bonus from this. And that's really what matters here. If this is so close from being an okay set, honestly, all you need is either one more Glad or one more of whatever this guy's called, and you'd have like the two-piece bonus. Okay, let's take a look at the goblet. Cryo damage, as it should be, and this one's a harder one to farm, but oh wow, look at those rolls. I think it rolled one into flat defense and everything else went into critical damage and attack percentage. Okay, I would not complain about this one. This is another good artifact. Man. Yeah, looking at this, I would replace this piece for another Glad, or your feather for another Glad, just so that you can get that 18 plus attack, but maybe you don't need it because your sword gives you attack, and maybe this 20% crit damage is just higher value, or maybe this 12% crit damage has more value than getting that 18% attack boost, but I don't know. I would try to go for that next if you continue building on this. But last but not least, the critical rate, and that's why you have a good critical rate amount. Okay, can't complain with that. Unfortunately, it rolled quite a bit into HP. Energy recharge, wow, this is all over the place. Critical damage is again really high, so I guess you can't really complain about that. Okay, all your artifacts are good. All these artifacts are good, so doing a rainbow set, because of those good artifacts, I can like pass ever so slightly. The fact that the QIQI is already AR55, I think you should be moving away from rainbow sets. You should really replace this feather or this piece with a Glad, and I say Glad and not trying to get another more of these, I don't even know what this set is called, honestly. It's because you have a really good cryo goblet on a Glad, and those are hard to farm, so I would try to replace this or this with another Glad. Wait, I would replace this with a Glad, or I would replace this feather with either a Glad or whatever this piece is called. That's my final verdict on this Ayaka. I would say this Ayaka is like not bad. Pretty good free-to-play Ayaka, not gonna lie. But you're one piece away from getting another 2-piece bonus. Come on now. You can do better. Okay, and now, thanks to the vote of chat, we are now looking at the QIQI's Yoimya. And just under 2k attack. Oh wow, look at that defense. 800 defense, okay. A lot more elemental mastery, which is great. It's totally fine because Yoimya is pyro, so vape and melt is going to really benefit from that. So let's just dive right in. Let's take a look at the stats. A healthy amount of attack given, so that's great. Over 50% crit rate, which is awesome, and it's a pretty close to a 1-to-2 ratio. So I say that's pretty good for now. I don't know if it's fully built. It is only level 80, so we can be a little forgiving about that. And now we have crit damage, okay, and then just under 130 energy recharge. Pyro damage bonus is at 38. Okay, not too shabby. Not too shabby, I would say. So this is okay. Doesn't look like it's fully built looking at the crit rate, crit damage, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Wait, was the build different before? I don't think we care about that. Too late. Let's take a look at the what prototype crescent. Yes. Oh, so a charge shot? I don't claim to build. We'll see about that, QIQI. Prototype Crescent. Okay, Charge Shot Yoimiya. Not the way I personally play it, but that works out just fine as well. That is totally fine. I forgot how cute she looks. And we're at Constellation 0, and talents are... Oh no, I'm worried about this Yoimiya. 5, 4, 4. Okay, so for a Charge Shot Yoimiya, prioritizing your normal attack is, I guess, is fine. It is the way to go the most part. Now, since this is not fully built, and I feel like Charge Shot... Okay, it really depends on what your whole team is. But yes, if you're doing Charge Shot Yoimiya, you want to prioritize normal attack. The thing you want to prioritize the least is her elemental skill, because her elemental skill mostly benefits from normal attacks and actually kind of debuffs charge attack in a sense, because you don't get the 3 auto target things once you're activated her E. And then her burst could use some investment if you are on a team comp where you kind of want to swap into another like sub DPS or main DPS as well, because it does benefit other team members, so that really depends. Charge Shot Yoimiya then ends up becoming a pretty easy or cheap way to build Yoimiya, because you mostly focus on charge attack and you don't really need to invest on her elemental skill, and her burst is kind of a little bit more optional, but it definitely boosts the whole team, so you kind of do want to invest a little bit in it. So for a free-to-play, this is actually probably not the worst thing. That's my 2 cents, throwing it out there. Okay, let's take a look at Yoimiya's artifacts. Oh, okay, yes, a 4-piece Wanderer's Troop is perfectly fine for a Charge Shot Yoimiya. It is actually probably her best artifact set for a Charge Shot Yoimiya because of the 4-piece bonus. This is the set that I use on my Ganyu because I use a Milk Ganyu, so the stakes are high on this review. Let's go in. And we are starting off with a lot of critical damage and no rolls in defense percentage, decent amount of elemental mastery, and no crit rate. Now, because this is a Charge Shot Yoimiya, having crit rate, you can get away with less of that if you have amazing aim and you can hit the enemy's weak spots. The issue I have with that is that not all enemies have weak spots or don't have weak spots available at all times. So I feel like you end up losing out on DPS without any crit rate regardless. I'm a little iffy about that. That being said, the reason why they're probably super tempted of using this piece versus something with a crit rate is that the crit damage rolled heckin' high, and it also rolled only... Actually, now that I look at this, it literally only rolled on critical damage and elemental mastery only, and that's actually pretty good. That's actually a pretty good solid. So I see where the temptation lies, and maybe you don't have another good piece for it, or maybe you just care about the big PP damage whenever you hit a crit. I don't know. That being said, that is a pretty good roll. Okay, next we've got the feather. QIQI saying, I don't claim the goblet and circlet. We'll see about that one. And again, so much critical damage. Okay. It rolled into defense. Okay, at AR55, I'm going to have to say that you should definitely be getting something a lot better on your feather. I understand that the critical damage rolls is pretty solid if you are a lower AR, but at AR55 I would start being a little bit more picky about my feather and my flower and try and go for crit damage, crit rate on both stats. So that's going to be my 2 cents. You should be doing you should be having a better feather by now. That's all I'm going to say about that. Next, let's look at the scenes. And attack main stat, double crit. Wow. In my opinion, feather and flower are easier to farm, and yet you have a way better sense than your flower and feather. Interesting. Although, those rolls on the flat defense though was a little tough to bear, but at least you got the roll on the critical damage and maybe another roll on the crit rate. I'm not too sure. I think it also went into crit rate at least once. So this is like not bad, I would say. You got the double double crits on the substat, so I really can't complain about this piece. This is a good piece. This is like a decent piece. Free to play, probably good. Probably is on towards the good. Okay. Oh, I see. That's why you don't claim on these 2 pieces. They're not fully leveled yet. I mean, considering your talents are still only like 5, 4, 4, I can definitely understand that you're still building this Yoimiya. Wait, you're AR45? No, you're not. Lies. You are AR55. Enough with this BS. Okay, let's take a look at this. Pyro damage, which is okay. Oh my god, look at that disgusting piece of defense you've got on this piece. Disgusting. Let's not look at that anymore. We all know how bad that one is. One thing I will say though is that you left it at level 16, and I will say good job at leaving it only at level 16, because if you have leveled up this piece to level 20, I would want to virtually slap you right now. Front hand and then backhand, both cheeks, for doing that, because you don't do that when you roll that much defense. Just saying. Just saying. Now, the thing with the goblets, because it's a hard thing to farm, bringing it to level 16 just to get the main stat bonus is totally fine if your RNG is not that great. And because the QIQI is a free-to-play player, this is acceptable. This is acceptable. Last but not least, this level 12 circlet. I wonder how bad this one's going to be. That's the crit rate, so that's not too bad. Oh my god, you are so unlucky with your 2 hardest pieces to farm. Again, that defense. That disgusting defense. And energy recharge. Oof. Dodge the attack and the crit damage. Oof. Feels bad. Feels so bad. That being said, this is again another hard piece to farm. So getting this to level 16 is like okay. I actually understand why the QIQI stopped at level 12, because it was definitely not rolling where he wanted it to roll. And because you're free to play, maybe you don't want to go all the way to 16, because that is already starting to look a little expensive for free to play. So maybe 12 is like the cutting point to go further for this piece. So I would say you made the right decision by holding back. You controlled your gambling artifact addiction and held back and just gave yourself 20% crit rate, which is totally fine because your crit rate is above 50, and that is okay. So I will say you are making some decently reasonable free to play decisions on these artifact rolls. You stopped where you needed to stop, but leveled up enough where your stats would be okay. So I say as a free-to-play player, your artifacts on your Yoimya is actually okay. I would definitely, well, obviously I would want to get better pieces on these two, your goblet and your circlet, and then you should also be looking at getting better flowers and better feathers as well, just so that you can get double crits on it, potentially. But as it stands, your feather and flower is okay to leave for now, and I mean, I guess it's RNG dependent, so I guess you don't really have control on what you get, but yes, I think if you could prioritize, I would prioritize on a better goblet and a better circlet. But obviously, that's just how it is. Yeah, your Yoimya is definitely a work in progress. It is okay that it's a shard shot Yoimya because you're free to play, and that is a cheaper Yoimya to build. So I can't complain. I really can't complain too much. It's like, I feel like every person that spends money in the game finds all of this disgusting, but if I were to like step back from my money spending on Genshin and was looking at this with the eyes of a free to play person, this is like okay. This is actually a pretty solid Yoimya that's in progress. So all I can say to you is keep up the good work and keep holding back on those bad artifacts, and don't give in to temptation like a lot of us do when it comes to rolling on artifacts, because RNG is a bitch. And I'm going to leave it at that. That was the QIQI's 2 characters review, the 2 Inazuma waifus, I guess, in Cryo and Pyro with Ayaka and Yoimya. I'm honestly kind of curious to review his other characters, but that will have to happen a different time, especially since I'm seeing in chat that this Tartaglia might be an Anemo Tartaglia for some weird, unforgiving reason, but we'll leave that for another time. So okay, I lied. We're doing one more review because I made a promise, or I said I would do something and I completely forgot because it's been so long since I last reviewed a character. So we're going back to Kachin Queen, aka Asahina, aka Asuna, aka probably other things, and we're going to review his Kazuha. So we're reviewing a new character. AR55 again, so same as the QIQI, but a little bit better on the Spiral Abyss, but regardless, let's take a look. Okay, probably more of a support Kazuha. I do not like that 1000 defense though. Elemental Mastery is looking pretty good, and level 90, okay, let's take a look at the stats real quickly. Again, I do like that Elemental Mastery, I'm not gonna lie about that. Less attack, but I think you're trying to invest more in Elemental Mastery, so I think that's okay. You can definitely... Okay, and I would... do I care? I guess with an full-on Elemental Mastery build, you don't really care about crit that much. But when you don't care about crit, like with your supporting characters, regardless if you're trying to focus more on Elemental Mastery and attack, it is still... You still kind of want to aim for around 40% crit rate and 80% crit damage for that 1-to-2 ratio, just so that you have like something going on. Now, 32 through 75 is kind of close enough, so I don't think I'm going to complain too much about that. I don't have a Kazuha, so I don't know if you want energy recharge or not. I don't know if he's the battery or not, or whatever. So I'm just gonna glance over that, and you got the Neo damage, which is something you want, so that's totally fine. And weapon choice, it is the Iron Sting for more elemental mastery, which is, I guess, is an okay choice. I guess. I don't actually know. Dealing elemental damage increases all damage by 6% for 6 seconds. Sounds like you want to stay on the field weapon, but I guess that's okay. Maybe, I guess it kind of affects his burst, so I guess that's fine. I guess it's actually a decent weapon for Kazuha. Aesthetically though, yeah, we'll just look over that. Constellation 0, because free to play, or I think 1 or 2 welcome moons. And solid 899. Okay, highly invested on the talents, so which just means I need to judge harder. But I guess we'll just see. Now I'm assuming it's more of a support, so having more E and burst investment is the correct way to go. But if you're going support, do you even need normal attack? I don't know. Or maybe you're kind of building it a little bit like a Jean, where it's kind of a jack of all trades minus the healing. And let's go into the artifacts. And proper bonus with the VV. Everything is level 20, so we'll see how this goes. Let's start off with the flower. Double crit, which is great. Unfortunately rolled once into defense, but that is okay, because it rolled into crit rate and elemental mastery, which is completely awesome. 63 elemental mastery is actually really good, so no complaints there. Okay, a good flower, good so far. And still with the double crit, even though you don't really need it for an elemental mastery build, that's still really good. And again, the double crit and elemental mastery, but unfortunately it rolled at least like 3 times into defense. That rolled at least 3 times into defense, but at least it went into crit rate once or twice, possibly. But that defense though, and I mean, outside of defense, you got the double crit and you got the elemental mastery, which is pretty much what you want. So that's pretty solid. That's actually really good. I'm actually jealous of your viridescent pieces, because I definitely don't have that, and I'm still farming that right now. So yeah, good on you for sure. Next, let's go with the sands. Those substats though. Wow, you just didn't care. You just went elemental mastery, slapped that on, and called it a day. Clearly, which is acceptable to do on a especially on a free-to-play account. So I guess I can't complain. And at least it rolled a little bit into energy recharge to make it not completely useless. But and flat attack, I guess, is like borderline okay. And I don't know. I just can't look at this and be okay with this. If it was me personally, I probably would have left it at level 16 and continued farming. But again, I'm not exactly the most free-to-play player, so I guess I can't say that for you. I don't know. Those subsets just look gross to me. I don't know. I just can't look at it anymore. And a Nemo. And wow, that defense. Oh. I can't look at that defense right now. Oh, that's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. But again, it's the goblet. It's the hardest piece to farm, or one of the hardest pieces to farm. So I guess you just stuck with it. And that defense though, I probably would have left it at level 16 myself. But at least I think it rolled at least once in crit rate, if I got that correct. So, I don't know. That's feels bad. And next, last but not least, the off piece, elemental mastery, crit. Okay, this is actually not bad. This is a pretty good off piece. Unfortunately, it doesn't have crit rate, but again, you focus on the elemental mastery, and it rolled a healthy amount into attack and energy recharge and crit damage and completely dodged defense. So I say this is a good piece. This is honestly just a good piece. I can't complain. For elemental mastery, like a Nemo character, this is a solid piece. Dang. Okay, yeah, not bad at all. I don't know what to say about this Kazuha, honestly. It's like, I can easily say that your flower and your feather is really good. And then you kind of just went YOLO and be like, I just go EM go burr, and called it a day with your other 3 pieces, which is okay. Oh, outside of your goblet, you need a better goblet. Pronto. Kind of hard to do when your off piece is your circlet though, so that's going to be a little bit hard to do, but all the best. This is actually honestly, this is a pretty decent Kazuha. I can't lie. This is a decent Kazuha, especially for free to play. It's just kind of gross to look at some of your substats that you have and some of your unfortunate rolls, but again, as we all know in here, QIQI does not have good RNG luck with his artifacts, so yeah. Well, that was it. 3 characters in one review. That's a record. I don't think I'm ever going to do that again. Until next time, we'll see who I end up reviewing next. Bye.